We're continuing to read from Sivananda's Gospel of Divine Life, stories from the life of short conversations and things that he had had at the ashram with devotees and with, ashramite staff members that work there. So the first one is called First Fulfilled Duties. A batch of visitors had arrived. The master was asking several ashramites to attend to the affairs connected with their lodging, etc. Someone said that the aspirant who had the key of a particular room was meditating in his room. So these visitors arrived, and Swami Sivananda wanted them to get settled right away, but the person that had the key to their room was in his own room meditating, so he wasn't available with the key. What meditation is this? He must first fulfill his duties and then meditate. He should have kept the keys outside and then shut himself up. Look how many people are inconvenienced now. How can God be pleased with one's meditation when he keeps his devotees waiting outside? So he's saying, how can God be pleased with one's meditation when, his other devotees are not able to get into their own room, their room? The food bell had rung. Oh, this one's called No Distinctions. The food bell had rung. Vishnu Swamiji, called the master. Take John de Cruz with you and see that he is accommodated in the Pangat. Is he also taking his food in the dining hall? Yes, Swamiji. That's right. In this ashram, there should be no communal feeling, no caste, no creed distinctions. Christian, Muslim, Parsi should all move together amicably, eat together, pray together, without any distinction whatsoever. Okay, this one's called On Admission to the Ashram. Narayani Swamiji, there is a brahmachari who has today come from South India. It appears he knows a lot about cement work. He met a sadhu on his way and got initiation from him into brahmacharya. He appears to be a decent young man. Let him remain here. I have told him that he will have to work also, and he has readily agreed. Due to several reasons, it had been decided to restrict admissions of aspirants into the ashram. Therefore, when the master gave the above instructions, everyone present felt uneasy, perhaps at the thought that the brahmachari may not be admitted by the ashram committee. So Swami Sivananda had asked that he had met this new brahmachari that had stopped in and wanted to stay. And so Swami Sivananda himself was appealing that this person could stay, and there was an ashram committee, I guess, at the time, and so they weren't accepting people. And then, for some reason, everybody present felt uneasy, maybe because they had met this brahmachari and were hesitant. But it says, the master sensed their feelings and said, you cannot judge at the very first sight whether an aspirant will turn out to be good or not. Paramanandaji also came in this manner, and later on, he proved to be a dynamic, selfless worker. So, not our Paramanandaji. We had no hesitation, but this Paramanandaji, who was one of Swami Sivananda's main disciples, he also came, he says, in that manner, and proved to be a dynamic, selfless worker. Several others came, and they left also because they had neither the zeal to work nor the aspiration to tread the spiritual path. My policy has always been this: let the doors of the ashram be open to one and all. The undesirables will either go away of their own accord or be sent away by someone or other in the ashram. It is all his business. His, capital S, H, capital H. So the next one is called Hidden Vanity. Om Namo Narayanaya, Masterji Maharaj. You're not taking any notes in Vedanta. Perhaps you know all these things. So this is Swami Sivananda talking to one of the students. Shiva Narayana-ji came to the rescue. Swamiji, he's already well read in Vedanta and the Gita. Then come, tell me, what are the Shatlingas? Sri Swami Krishnanandaji had just this morning explained them in the Vedanta class. Silence. That's it, said the master. Even if you know the Vedantic truths, if something presents itself, even if it be mere terminology, you should take notes. All ideas, thoughts, and lessons are useful. I shall do so from tomorrow, Swamiji. So we always have this thing whether it's better to sit and listen to lectures and to take it all in, or whether you should take notes. And when taking notes, perhaps you miss something. But we can see here Swami Shivananda's opinion on this. He says, take notes, always. Unconditional charity. Very well, but who loses? Not we, but only he loses the Lord's blessings. The master brushed aside a suggestion to approach a devotee afresh for the purpose of getting a book printed. He was told that the devotee had expressed his displeasure at the society for not utilizing immediately a donation he had made for the purpose for which it was intended. As a result of this, he had stopped further contributions. So there was somebody that had been contributing to the ashram and had given a donation that he wanted specifically to go to something. And apparently it hadn't gone to that, but to something else. And so he didn't want to donate again. So the master said, very well, but he loses the Lord's blessings. He says, charity should be unconditional, the master further remarked, especially in this case of a spiritual institution where the organizers are trustworthy and selfless servants of humanity. The donor should not bind the workers with all kinds of conditions. The people in charge of the institution know where funds are needed urgently. For instance, if money is urgently required by us to maintain the aspirants, then we should use it for that purpose. It would be then foolish to starve the workers, saying that there is no balance in the ashram maintenance fund. If the building fund has money, and this money is not urgently required, then any wise or organizer will divert it to the kitchen. To me, the printing of books is the greatest necessity. All other works have a secondary priority. Dissemination of spiritual knowledge on the widest possible scale is my one thought. Construction work and the water scheme and every other work can wait. The world looks to such societies and ashrams as ours for guidance. Even if we go and take food from the almshouse, we should go on with publication of books and leaflets. So they had, within the ashram itself, they had a publishing system where they published all the books, and this was a number one priority to Swami Sivananda. He says, even if they needed to go and beg for food elsewhere, they should definitely use funds to go on with the publication of books. The donor will be greatly benefited by such unconditional charity. He would have served the world through his money. Even if the money goes to feed some sadhus and aspirants, the donor will be greatly blessed. A few people realize this, but others have the banker's mentality. This money for this and that money for that. This hinders their progress to the goal, narrows their heart, and clouds their intellect. It finally leads them to vilification of Mahatmas and eventually to their own downfall. For whose sake is he doing the charity? Certainly not for our sake. The Lord will provide us with sufficient funds to carry on the work. I have the power to bring about a shower of gold in this ashram, but I will not do it. The householders should be given an opportunity of doing charity and being purified of their bad karmas. Only through charity and the like can they purify their hearts and minds, and thus expand and evolve. Everyone should realize this. This one's called Hurt Not Others' Feelings. Swami X had got a little annoyed at an aspirant's attitude. A lady had been so much upset over a relative's death that she had expressed great grief in her letter. The cool Vedantin in the young Swami revolted against this, and in a reply he chided her mildly and pointed out that instead of wasting her thoughts on the dead relative, she could well utilize it in God thought. So I think this young Swami was responding to a letter somebody had written, and she was very much grieving for somebody. And he sort of took this approach of the Vedantin where, she shouldn't be wasting her time thinking about that. She should be utilizing her thoughts to think about God. But the master would not agree even with this. He said, no, there should not be one word which will hurt a devotee's feelings. There should not be one negative suggestion. Always dwell on positive thoughts and ideas. Encourage everyone. If you are vigilant, you will always find some good quality in everyone, and with the help of which you can persuade the person to ignore the weaknesses. Every word must be sweet, even if the aspirant is completely wrong in his stand. When you write a letter under a sudden impulse, leave it there. When the impulse has died out, read the letter again. You will surely alter it. So this is his suggestion. A few places he's said it already that we've read, that don't act on your emotions quickly. If it's coming from an emotional place or some other place, just to wait, and then when that impulse has died out, look at it again. Similarly, in the case of conversation also, never give vent to the first impulse. When you are agitated, leave the place. Do not talk. Do not be foolish and say something for which you will later regret. If you give vent to the first impulse, then later on you will go on your knees and apologize. Make it a habit of not using offending words. Never give offense to anyone. You will never regret, and you will be loved by all. So this next one's called Lost Opportunities. Panalalji's family was going for the Vishwanath Ghat for their bath. So Panalal was a great devotee of Swami Sivananda. So Swami Sivananda saw the family going for their bath, and he said, Om Namo Narayanaya. Did the doctor come and see the child last night? One of the children in the family was sick. No, Swamiji, but the child is improving by your grace, or by your grace alone. Oh, Venugopala Swamiji, did you not attend to the child last night in the Vanaprastha hermitage? No, Swamiji, I will go now. So this great devotee had a child that was sick, and Swami Sivananda had asked one of the Swamis to go and check on it the previous night. And he thought that he had, and then he was told by Panalal himself that he hadn't gone, but that the child was improving. But so now Swami Sivananda is speaking with his Swami. No, Swamiji, I will go now. Of course you can go now, but I had asked you to attend to that baby last night itself, and you had agreed to do so. You have neglected your duty. It is either laziness or neglect. It is through these incidents that you miss much golden opportunities of rendering service. If I had known that you would not go, then I would have gone myself and attended to the child. This service is greater than meditation and study. By serving the sick, you put yourself directly in tune with the infinite. You develop the heart, which is the only way to realize the Supreme. I thought that I need not go last night, Swamiji, so I neglected it. When I request you go immediately, you should go at once and attend to the patient, whether it be midnight or midday. Do not think I'm finding fault with you. It's all for your own good only. By such frequent self-analysis, you should try to improve and make yourself perfect. Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Ho Ji. Okay, we can read one more. This one's kind of a long one. Steps to perfection. The master now turned to Sri Raja Gopalan, who had asked during the morning class the methods for shutting out extraneous thoughts during meditation. Meditation is only the 7th step in yoga. Without first attending to the preliminaries, you wish to get established in the 7th limb. Is this possible? First, get established in yama and niyama. This alone is sufficient work for several lives. Study the Gita. Find out if you have developed even 100th part of one virtue which the Lord has prescribed for all aspirants. If you have done this, you have deserved this human birth. The eradication of evil qualities and the cultivation of good ones is such a difficult task that there is no use in treating the matter lightly. Anyone can write inspiring articles. Anyone can solve the difficulties of others, so long as the solution is not applied to oneself. You can turn out tremendous work, but these are all faculties only. Even singing bhajans and kirtans melodiously and with inspiration is not the development of a faculty that God has given you. Do not mistake this for the acquisition of sadhu qualities. They are entirely different. It is extremely difficult to develop even one quality which is necessary in a sadhu. Still, I'm not discouraging you all. Go on introspecting and eradicating the evil qualities one by one. You will soon find yourself in the region of perfection. First, get rid of gross impurities. Take anger, for example. How many are easy victims of the grossest form of anger? This fighting nature is inborn in everyone. A sadhu should completely eradicate this evil. It should have no place in him. Someone here abused R and he went away. So one of the students that had been staying at the ashram had apparently left because he was ill-treated by others. Even if a person is undesirable, we should not abuse him. That is why the greatest sages prescribed mercy, compassion, and tolerance for a sadhu. There should be friendship towards equals, sympathy towards inferiors, admiration and respect towards superiors, and indifference towards undesirable persons. When you take sannyas, you take the great vow. I grant fearlessness to all. Even an ant should not be afraid of you. You give abhaya to all, or fearlessness. Even the worst of men should not be afraid of you. Without these qualities, there is only a change in the garb of a sadhu, but the nature will remain the same. So he's talking to his sadhus, or the sannyasins at the ashram. Without these qualities, there's only a change in the garb, but the nature remains the same. Try to improve yourself little by little. Be on the alert. So long as you are on the right path, there is no fear. You are sure to reach the goal. Stop there for today. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Om Sakuru Sivananda Maharaj ki. Om Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj ki.